Listener discretion is advised.
You wish.
You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Yes.
Oh,
Golly
yeah.
gee.
And maybe a bunch of belches, too.
Hey, I got most of it out, but
At least you can burp.
right?
I know. Show
The
off.
sphincter works.
Show off.
What?
Braggart.
Sorry.
I'm Kenyon.
Ooh.
I'm Lucy and very proud.
Thank
I'm
you.
Amanda. Also proud.
Everything is like going right so
I'm a
far
little
with
nervous.
this recording, and it's making me very nervous.
Yeah, I have anxiety either way. It's not like
Right.
there's any relief when things are going well.
But like we started on time.
Yep.
All the tech is working. We remembered all the steps.
Yep.
I remembered to say my name.
Yep.
Something is about to
Something's
go drastically
Something
wrong.
wicked this way comes.
Yeah. But in the meantime, we have a very special fan pick this week, brought to you by our very special fan picker, Mitchell Kazatza.
Ooh.
Ha. I love your espresso brand.
Oh.
And no, it's a Maida. I was joking. And
Love
they
your
would,
pizza.
would like to dedicate this episode to their girlfriend, Summer Montoya.
Ooh.
And they met lifeguarding at the City of Austin public pools.
Okay,
So
well, that's just
cute.
darn cute.
It's super cute. And we've been to those public pools.
We have.
I wonder if they practice CPR on each other.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Get it. First I was afraid. I was petrified. No?
That's the
I
best
get it. I'm
episode
there.
of all time. All right. Mitchell has selected the very fitting topic of lifeguard crimes.
Love it.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're recording this in the dead of winter.
Real fun.
It might be the dead of winter, but it is 54 fucking degrees here today.
Yeah,
Seriously?
it's a warm one in Minnesota too.
Eerie.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't like
Minnesota,
it.
You could absolutely go swimming at that temp.
You know,
Mhm.
some might.
Mm-hmm.
Some might.
Yeah. So, what is our wine crime pairing for lifeguard crimes?
Well, our dear fan picker Mitchell recommended a vodka brand called Deep Eddy vodka, which is inspired by the oldest swimming hole in Austin, Texas.
Oh my God, how cute!
Yeah.
One Deep Eddy.
It's deep. It's described as a place where people come together to enjoy good times that never seem to end.
Until you
Which
have
I
to
say
pee.
barf. Yeah. Barf.
Mhm.
So I put my mixologist hat on today
Okay.
and crafted a cocktail that is sure to wow.
Oh, no.
Inspired by my ongoing recovery from my COVID booster. I call this cocktail the COVID booster.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
And it consists of
Booster.
Booster. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm going to change the name. Good call.
Okay.
Thanks for helping me workshop that. It consists of a shot of vodka,
Mm-hmm.
a splash of orange juice,
Splash.
a splash, filled to the top with water, and 1 packet of vitamin C booster
Oh, that's yellow.
in your best Rainforest Cafe Hurricane commemorative glass.
Choice.
I
And
busted
made
that.
it.
I busted that glass out at Thanksgiving last week.
Mine broke. I
have
love
an
it.
Amanda
extra.
has like 3.
I have an extra.
You have an extra? Will you set it aside for me? Because my
Yes.
mom shipped it to me along with my very loud sneakers that you guys,
Oh,
that you
they
got
are-
me?
They are loud.
which I've been wearing all the time, and they're Zach's
Mhm.
favorite. And
They're very
yeah,
comfortable.
He's like, "Are you gonna wear your cool shoes?" Anyway,
Corey calls them my street dogs.
So at
They're
first sip, that is not good.
yeah, it doesn't look good.
And it's
Vodka and
also,
water.
It's also extremely chalky because I
Yeah.
don't think there's enough water for the whole packet of vitamin C.
Oh, ew. It's all at the bottom.
I mean, no, I stirred her. Oh, yeah, there's some settling.
That's heinous. That is not a. Don't do what Amanda has done.
Do it. Try it. I mean, I'm going to drink it all. It's not going to kill me. It's going to boost me.
No.
Might give you COVID.
There are a million other vodka cocktails that I'd rather be sipping.
There can only be one.
Oh,
That
no.
is nasty. Okay, moving
Whatever.
on.
I just made your holiday season. Done.
So cheers. Nice pop, nice crack. Cheers.
Yeah?
Cheers. I got my Kim Crawford Sauv Blanc.
You're welcome.
You bougie bitch.
I
I'm
know.
so bougie. It's
All
my
right.
rich wine. When I'm feeling fancy, I spring for the Kim.
I know. It's like $16 versus 11.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
It's not nothing.
No, she
Pinkies
is
up,
pricey.
ladies.
Go for it.
I'm rocking sparkling water.
Yum.
All right. So, Lucy, what is our background and probably not psych for lifeguard crimes?
I can't believe how
Bones.
bad this drink is.
It's visibly bad.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can
no psych.
smell it from here. No psych. At least that I remember. No psych. Okay. Well, a lifeguard is a rescuer who supervises the safety and rescue of swimmers, surfers, and other water sports participants, such as in a swimming pool, a water park, a beach, a spa,
Oh.
Oh.
rivers, and lakes.
They guard
Oh.
your life.
And ponds. Any body of water.
They guard your body and
Yeah.
you're a body of water.
The little kiddie pools.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. That you poop
We'll get to
in.
those.
Okay.
What?
I definitely pooped in a kiddie pool as
Girl.
an infant.
Like an
No.
inflatable one?
No,
One
like
of those
a
ones at a park that's only like a foot and a half deep.
yeah, that's like
Was it
next
at
to
the YMCA in South Minneapolis because we had to evacuate
They
that
always make you
specific
get
pool
out.
because there were turds floating in it because the water's like warmer
Yeah.
than in the regular pool?
Yeah, it's a good place to evacuate if you get my drift.
What if that was the first time we ever met? When you shit in the pool at the YMCA
did.
and we all had to
that's
evacuate.
canon now. That's
It
what
was
it
not
is.
at the YMCA. It was at the North Star Resort up
Oh,
north,
okay.
wherever we went as when I was a kid, and I was in diapers still, and they put me in like a swim diaper in the kiddie pool, and then
thick rubber diapers.
And then
As if that excuses it.
and then immediately a turd escaped from my diaper,
Leaked
and
out.
Chris had to like take me out, fish it out with like some kind of net.
I can picture Chris.
I was just
so
smiling. I was a
perfectly.
really smiley baby, just always
Yeah.
happy.
You're living your life.
Crooked little smile.
Your little broken boos. God bless it.
Anyway,
I
I'd
love
like
your
to
little
say
broken booze. So cute.
I'd like to say that was the last time that I evacuated in a pool, but it was not.
Oh my God.
At the YMCA a couple years later.
Yeah,
No,
there was a
no.
reboot of that sequel.
I don't think I've been in a YMCA pool.
I am one sentence into my segment.
All right.
Have you forgotten how this always goes? Like, are you new here?
Well, today was going so smoothly.
It still is.
We're kind
All
of
right.
getting the anecdotes.
We're thriving.
Haven't even gotten to how I almost died. Same pool.
I'm sure we'll get
Same
to it.
pool.
We'll
Did you get a
to it.
staph infection from some fecal matter?
No, don't you
Oh.
remember? Same resort. Not the kiddie pool, but the adult pool next to the kiddie pool.
Was this the same trip?
No,
I
it
don't
was
know,
probably
Lucy,
the
but this is
following
now
year.
on you for asking follow-up questions, so I don't want to hear a single
I
complaint.
can't shut it down when she said, I haven't even gotten to the time when I almost died.
You guys don't remember this? Oh, this is
No.
the first time I almost died in this pool. Big events around this same pool. So anyway, I was like 2. I was crawling, but not like talking or walking that much. I don't know.
Okay.
Do you walk at 2? Whatever. I was
Yeah,
crawling
you
around.
walk.
I was crawling around. And it was the first day that our family like arrived at the resort, and so the pool was closed on like move-in day, you know, whatever, because everyone had to like unpack their cars and all this shit and whatever, and kids are running around. And so my godparents are putting all the shit in the cabin, and
I know this story.
they had their sons, my godmother's stepsons, watching me on the playground, but the pool was fully closed, fenced, and the fence gate was locked.
Okay.
Okay? So we're
Pretty
playing.
safe.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be fine. Whatever, watch Kenny and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing whatever. I disappear from them, and they're kids, so they're not paying attention. And I managed to dig in the dirt like an animal and crawl
Under
under
the
the
fence?
chain link fence.
You really wanted to swim.
And crawled on top of the covered pool.
You're like a prison escapee.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
made it
this
to the
is some-
middle of the covered pool. And then the pool cover started to like sink
Oh, I love
with
it.
me in the middle of it. And I got like enveloped in the pool cover.
Good
just
for you.
sinking.
Mm-hmm.
And Dougie, the older of the two boys, was like 10 or 12. Like he was little
Mhm.
too. He finally realized where I was, jumped the fence, jumped into the pool, and got me out and saved me.
Wow. What a
Mhm.
babe.
And they
Yeah.
didn't tell my mom that it happened for like 10 years.
Honestly, that was the right call. That was the right call.
There are some things that happen when you're young. You just don't tell your
don't.
parents for like
Yeah.
at least a decade.
Yep.
Just don't mention it.
Yep.
Like when we got detained at the Canadian border.
Yep.
Exactly.
Just don't mention it.
So
Hi,
anyway,
Dad.
sorry you're only one sentence in. I had to get my pool anecdotes out.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, moving on. Too bad Mitchell and Montoya weren't there.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
So lifeguards are trained in swimming and CPR/AED, which stands for Automated External Defibrillator.
Nah.
Refrigerator.
Nailed it.
Automatic external refrigerator, which
Love.
is impossible to pronounce. So those two types of first aid, they're certified in water rescue using a variety of aids and equipment depending on requirements of their particular venue. So like if you're a lifeguard at a spa, you're not going to probably have the same things as a lifeguard on a major beach on the ocean.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
In some areas, lifeguards are part of the emergency services system to incidents, and in some communities, lifeguards may function as the primary EMS provider.
Ooh.
So depending on where you're at, lifeguards, very
Might be
important.
Your ambulance.
Yeah. So as a verb, we typically don't say lifeguarding, we say life-saving.
Mm.
And Lifesavers are among my top 8 favorite candies.
Are they?
They're pretty great.
They're pretty fucking great.
Wow, that's not what I would have guessed.
I'm going to tell you all about Lifesavers right now.
Great.
Oh
Because
my
I
God.
went down a fucking rabbit hole.
Let's go.
Oh my God.
Candy manufacturer Clarence Crane of Garrettsville, Ohio, invented the brand in 1912 as a summer candy that could withstand heat better than chocolate.
Smart.
So smart.
So we don't have another episode like Lucy sitting on the Kit Kat
Yeah.
and thinking she shat herself in the car.
That was a day.
Being like, oh
Didn't-
my God.
Didn't need a summer candy on that particular day.
Did not.
I got hot thighs. And it was a Kit Kat, so I kind of crushed it up because it was like a 4-hour drive.
It had chunks.
yeah.
Bull.
Yeah. But I smelled it and it smelled really good. So.
Okay.
Okay. The candy's name is due to the fact that its shape resembles that of a traditional ring-style life preserver, also known as a lifesaver.
Yeah, got it.
After registering the trademark in 1913, he sold the rights to fellow candy man Edward John Noble for $2,900.
The Candyman can.
Mm-hmm. Noble created the tinfoil wrappers to replace cardboard tubes in order to keep the candy more fresh.
Oh.
He also marketed, this was genius, he marketed Lifesavers by placing them next to cash registers of restaurants and grocery stores and instructed the cashiers to give nickels to customers as change in order to encourage the sale of the 5-cent Lifesavers.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, here's a nickel. Oh, guess what? That costs a nickel.
Oh, you don't say.
The slogan, still only 5 cents, helped Lifesavers to become a favorite treat for children with a tight budget.
Wow.
Originally, the flavor was Pep-O-Mint, Pep-O-Mint.
Sure.
The hole in the middle.
Yeah.
Cute.
They really ran this into the fucking ground. By 1919, 6 other flavors, including Wint-O-Green, Clove,
Okay.
Lick-O-Rish,
Okay.
Sin-O-Mun,
God.
I like it.
No, I hate
Violet.
it.
Stupid.
Violet. No.
Violet and clove are stupid.
Clove,
Clove.
and Choc-O-Lit had been developed, and these remained the standard flavors until the late 1920s. I'm so sorry, anybody who consumed these flavors.
Oh my God.
I mean, they're good flavors except for clove. I mean, clove, it's like
it could be
What
good.
the fuck is violet flavored?
I don't know.
I mean, there's violet in some pastries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But,
In 1920, a new flavor called Malt-O-Milk was introduced.
Oh,
okay.
This flavor was
give it up.
Yeah.
This flavor was received so poorly that it was discontinued after only a few years.
Yeah. You don't
okay.
say.
So at this point, the candies didn't actually have a hole in the middle. They just had like a little indentation. But in 1925, technology allowed for the candies to have an actual hole.
Wow.
Amazing.
Get a hole.
The future is now. Soon after, their so-called fruit drops came onto the market and were a huge hit with flavors like orange, lemon, and lime. And each of these flavors were packaged in their own separate rolls.
I believe you mean orange, lemon,
O-ring.
and
Oh.
and I don't know, lime. We could do limo.
Ooh,
Perfect.
So people really liked these because they were like made with different ingredients and they were like a clear, like crystally looking.
Mhm.
So that's why people liked those. 4 new flavors were quickly introduced, namely anise. It's pronounced
anus.
anus. I am drinking out of my wine glass. It says it's pronounced anus.
Love. One of my favorite fan gifts you've ever gotten.
It is. It's in
so
my like
good.
top 3. Yeah. So don't remember who gave it to me. I'm so sorry we were on tour. It's a fucking nightmare of a blur, but
But love
I
you
love it.
endlessly.
Yes. Okay, so these new flavors were anise, butter rum, cola, and root beer. In the 30s and 40s, we were lucky enough to have Molasso-Mint,
Ooh.
Oh my God, they went back to the O's.
What
Yeah.
throwback.
Christo-Mint,
Stupid.
Spear-O-Mint,
What the fuck?
Choco-Mint,
No.
and this is my favorite, Stick-O-Pep.
Stick O-Pep.
Stick-O-Pep.
If you ever see pepperoni playing with a stick, you
Stick-O-Pep.
gotta call it stick-o-pep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Done.
In
I'm going to buy her a stick now.
You need to
And by
buy
buy her,
a
I
stick.
mean just go find one.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna
I
buy her
got
a
there. You just have to give me a minute. God. No faith.
We live in a very capitalist society where if your
Listen.
first reaction was you have to go buy a stick.
Amazon
Right?
stick.
If I bought it, it would be delivered to my house and I wouldn't have to go outside.
Oh my God. Okay.
Paying for
In
convenience.
1935, the classic 5 flavor rolls were introduced, offering a selection of 5 different flavors, which were pineapple, lime, orange, cherry, and lemon in each
Yum.
roll. This flavor lineup was unchanged for nearly 70 years until 2003, when 3 of the flavors were replaced in the United States, making the rolls pineapple, cherry, raspberry, watermelon, and blackberry. However,
Okay.
orange was subsequently reintroduced and blackberry was dropped. The original 5 flavor lineups is still sold in Canada.
I love orange. I
do
like
too.
the orange Lifesavers. I like the orange Oh, God. What are they called?
Starburst.
Starbursts.
Yeah.
Skittles.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Orange skits. Oh, yeah.
Orange is a good color flavor.
So
There's
good.
really not a flavor that I don't like.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
call
all
me
taste the
insane.
same.
The pink Starbursts.
Everybody
my,
loves those.
My least favorite.
They're like fine.
The pale pink or the bright pink?
The pale pink.
Yeah, the pale pink's a little
They're a little overrated in my IMO.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving back to lifeguards.
Yeah. For totally
Candy
forgot where we
crimes.
fucking were. All right. Yep.
Lifesavers. It was interesting.
Mhm.
It all circles back.
So this is kind of a dramatic excerpt from my boyfriend, Encyclopedia Britannica.
Peppo stick.
Encyclopedia. Drowning involves suffocation by immersion in a liquid, usually water.
Okay.
Water closing over the victim's mouth and nose cuts off the body's supply of oxygen. Deprived of oxygen, the victim stops struggling, loses consciousness, gives up the remaining tidal air in their lungs, and they sink to the bottom.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
The heart may continue. This is so dramatic. The heart may continue to beat feebly for a brief interval, but eventually it ceases and death ensues.
No thanks.
No.
I know that drowning is supposed to be like
Pretty peaceful.
considered more painless than but like those moments of panic before the peacefulness.
We'll get to it, actually.
Okay.
I've said it
Don't
once.
make up your mind just yet.
I'll say it 1,000 times. I just don't want to know it's coming. I just want to die.
Just blast to the back of the head.
Just blast me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I want to live to be very old and then decide that I'm done and just have my first and a massive dose of heroin.
Mm.
Yeah,
Just
that's one way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, life-saving consists of aiding or rescuing the drowning persons and reviving the apparently drowned. The act of saving a drowning person is immensely complicated by the panicked struggles of the victim to stay afloat and breathing.
Yeah.
The
So if you just relax, you'll go quicker.
well, you could get saved.
Just
Better.
succumb.
Yeah, just let it wash
Let
over
the
you.
end wash over you.
The victim may convulsively grip his would-be rescuer, impeding his movements and quite possibly dragging them both down to the bottom in his
That's-
efforts to stay alive.
That is very scary.
Contact
That is
with a
precisely
drowning.
what Kenyon would do if anyone tried to save.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
absolutely.
Taking it
Yeah.
down with me.
Yeah.
I know. Unless I'm 2 years old and don't know what's happening.
Right.
Mhm. Contact with a drowning person poses no threat to the trained lifesaver, however, who is skilled in ways of avoiding or releasing the grip of the victim.
The death
So it's like
grip.
one of the things they learn is to like,
Yeah.
We weren't taught that when we were, I guess
never were lifeguards.
You
No,
weren't
but we
fully
were
trained
taught.
to be lifeguards.
Right. We weren't fully trained to be lifeguards, but we were taught like
Definitely not.
various, life-saving swim
Mm-hmm.
techniques, and we
Rescue
had
techniques.
to pass like a test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had to save Bob the bucket.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We were very creative. Okay. For the person unskilled in life-saving to come within the grasp of a drowning person can mean death for the both of them. There are ways, however, in which anyone can give effective aid to a victim, whether he is a skilled lifesaver or not, and even if he cannot swim at all. So, I think that's a little dramatic, but you might think you know what a drowning person looks like, so like flailing, gasping, etc., which this image isn't really helped by the encyclopedia entry just now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's often hard to tell that someone is drowning in the first place. So this is an interview from emergency physician Dr. Scott Youngquist, and this interview was conducted by the University of Utah. It's remarkably undramatic in nature, and most of the time it's not recognized by people who are watching swimmers, meaning drowning, it being drowning.
Mm-hmm.
A good trained lifeguard will notice the signs of drowning, but the fascinating thing is that 50% of kids who drown do so within 25 yards of a parent.
Oh, God.
Okay.
That's so scary.
I mean, 25 yards is kind of far, so just
20
keep them
yeah.
close.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Keep
want
a
to
hand on
Scarier,
'em.
though.
want to be
10
within
Oh, good.
2 yards, probably.
10% of those drownings occur while the parent is watching them. So they're not recognizing that this behavior as drowning at all. It just looks like the kid is in the water and seems to be doing fine. So they're expecting...
you're fine.
Yeah.
That'd be me.
Or what we'd like to call the 80s and 90s.
Right.
Yep. They're fine.
Boomer parenting.
Yeah.
Be home by dark. Bye.
You're fine. Back in my day.
So they're expecting some sort of thrashing, screaming, cries for help and things like that. And certainly if somebody is crying for help, they need help and we need to get to them.
Mm-hmm.
But there is this subtle drowning that occurs that will not be recognized by most people who don't have some training. There's a prototypical behavior that's very quiet and virtually silent that occurs. And if you recognize that, you can jump in and help the person. So
what are the signs?
I'm telling
are you ever going to get to the
Yes.
part? Okay.
No, I'm going to go on a tangent about candy again.
Okay, as if that would be surprising for you to do. You say it like we're so stupid for thinking you would do that.
So during the drowning response, as it's called, which doesn't look like drowning at all as we expect, drowning occurs silently and rapidly. The person is often not kicking their legs, so the legs are still. The person holds their face near the top of the water, usually with their head tilted back and their mouth at the level of the water. And they'll be bobbing up and down, opening their mouth, trying to gasp for air. Sounds like a koi fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
Trying to
because
gasp for-
they've already
Started the process.
gotten so much, they've already sucked in so much water that they can't.
It's a physiological, evolutionary response to drowning. Your body goes into this mode. So trying to gasp for air, and they won't be able to scream because of the work required to get air in as they bob up to the surface.
Great.
Their arms are often outstretched out from them, and they're used to push down against the water and to bring them up towards the surface. And this is actually a non-voluntary response. It's something that's hardwired and reflexive in the sort of lower parts of our brain to try to help us survive a drowning event.
But the legs kicking that's not hardwired? We only got half of it?
Apparently.
The part that kind of saves you instinctually is turned off.
Shit.
Cool.
I mean, presumably this is somebody who doesn't know how to swim, is not a strong swimmer.
Sure,
so maybe it is not instinctual to kick your legs
Okay.
in the water. I don't know.
Okay.
So their head is back, their mouth is open. They may have hair over their eyes and forehead because they're going up and down. So if you see someone who's swimming and their hair is completely covering their eyes, that is abnormal. People normally remove that from their eyes so they can see where they're going, what they're doing. So that can be a subtle sign as well.
Okay.
Their eyes might be closed. Their eyes, if open, will have a glassy appearance. They seem to be not fixed on anything, any particular object, or not looking around. They're just kind of staring off into space. They may be hyperventilating or gasping, as he said before, and they often appear to be climbing an invisible ladder using those arms to try to pull themselves up to the top of the water and get some air.
Oh, that's
So
terrifying
standing
imagery.
and dog paddling, but
Trying to, yeah.
Oh, this is really scary.
Not
and
a
really
fan.
freaky. They may be trying to roll onto their back before trying to swim without making any headway, particularly in the ocean. So those are the signs. As
No
I
thanks.
say, again, this is still a quote from the physician. As I say, they're subtle and they can be indistinguishable from someone who's just sort of floating on their back and their legs are down below them. But there are things to watch for to see if someone's needs help.
cool.
Well, that is haunting.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Gross.
I think so. If you're interested in lifeguards and life-saving and drowning and stuff, might I suggest the Australian reality show Bondi Rescue?
Hi, mate.
Bondi Beach is a massive beach near Sydney, Australia. The name Bondi comes from the Aboriginal word that has roughly the same meaning as the English word for surf. I can't do an Australian accent.
That was pretty good
Bondi,
for a while.
James
it fell off
Bondi.
there
Surf.
at the end. Your legs stopped kicking.
I'm climbing an invisible ladder.
But at first it was good.
Yeah.
So
You got there.
Bondi Rescue, which premiered in 2006, so like early days of reality TV, bravo, follows the daily lives and routines of the Waverly Council professional lifeguards who patrol Bondi Beach. These lifeguards perform around 5,000 rescues over a typical summer period.
Jeez.
Yeah, and
That's
according
a lot.
According to its Wikipedia page, Bondi Rescue's lifeguards, quote, also deal with other incidents including lost children, shark scares, blue bottle stings, injuries, sexual deviance, drunk beachgoers, and thieves on the beach.
Ooh.
Well, my case will bring up 2 of these.
Yeah.
Sexual deviance.
Yes.
Really?
And lost children. The 2
Yeah.
saddest ones.
Oh, no.
Mine
Yeah.
are pretty bad too.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
case is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, that is my entire segment, but Bondi Rescue is very entertaining. And also, it's kind of incredible because these lifeguards are like in their little huts that
Yeah.
are down the beach. They just have binoculars and there's thousands of people on
Yeah.
this massive
Yeah.
beach. And they can like just be like, oh, that guy needs help.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
get on their little wave runners. And
Yeah.
how could you even know?
I know.
Trained.
Especially
I mean,
after just
thank
talking
God.
about how hard it is to tell if someone's drowning.
Right.
Yeah. The amount of focus that
they're-
would require.
They're good at what they do. And I know that they have female lifeguards as well, but I do have a picture of some of the more muscular male variety lifeguards of Bondi Rescue. So I encourage you to go to the drive and check it out. These will be on the blog.
There are no female lifeguards.
I literally was staring at this picture and then I like looked up and I was like, oh, they also have faces.
They do.
They're all really tan.
Yeah.
They're
I'm
all
zoomed
the
in on
same
this.
color.
Yep.
They look like
Just-
English muffins.
They really do.
Yum.
Yum.
Just like a perfect croissant
Perfect
color.
croissant.
Yeah, they're all like cooked hot dog color.
Mm.
I like it.
Lucy twirls her hair.
Cooked hot dogs.
They all look like cooked hot dogs. Are we ready for my case?
Yes, we
Yes.
are.
It's real sad.
Mm.
Cool, like Amanda's cocktail.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Okay.
so chalky, you guys.
You did that to yourself.
I
No
know.
one forced your hand to do that.
I know. I know.
Do you think it's chalkier than a clove?
Probably.
I'm guessing those were quite chalky.
I'm sure. Oh.
Okay. So, Molly Bish was born on August 2nd, 1983, and grew up in the small rural town of Warren, Massachusetts,
Aw.
which the population at that time was just under 5,000 people. So we kind of have like an Excelsior type of situation here.
Mm.
There are photos, lots of photos of Molly on the drive in my folder if you want to take a look.
Cutie.
She was such a cutie. Her family was originally from the Detroit area, but after a young woman in their neighborhood was abducted and murdered, just like not somebody they knew, but just
Mhm.
somebody,
Mm-hmm.
they decided to move away and they chose rural Western Massachusetts looking for a safer place to raise their children.
Yeah.
And this would be really like sad and foretelling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
In 2000, 16-year-old Molly got her first summer job as a lifeguard at a local swimming area called Cummins Pond.
Mm-hmm.
And there are photos on the drive which kind of make more sense. It's like very much just like a rural pond,
Mhm.
large pond. And there's like a very tiny little strip of beach and a solitary lifeguard chair and like some like a swing set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it's very
Little neighborhood
Yeah. Hang out.
kind of beach.
watering hole.
Yeah.
So Molly's mother, Magdalene, who she actually goes by Maggie, would drive Molly to work each morning and drop her off by the lifeguard stand. And on the morning of June 26th, so pretty early on in the summer, Maggie, the mom, noticed a man with a mustache smoking a cigarette in a white car parked in the lot near the lifeguard stand when she dropped off her daughter. And she remembers getting like a weird feeling about him. He was
Never
just,
trust a mustache.
right? He was just sitting in his car smoking a cigarette, but she just like remembered it,
something's off.
felt weird. She would later explain, quote, "I'm kind of nervous thinking, what's this guy doing? Why isn't he at work? Because we're in a small town, people will kind of say hi or just nod their head. But this guy just stared at me."
Ew.
So he just like wasn't friendly, wasn't like acknowledging her, was just sitting.
Don't like it.
But she shook off the weird feeling, and Molly's day at work passed uneventfully. The next morning, though, on June 27th, she dropped Molly off at work as usual. This time, there was no sign of a man in a white car or, other people around. Several hours later, however, Maggie Bish received a horrifying phone call. The local police contacted her and informed her that no lifeguard had been on duty at the pond all day and that Molly's belongings had been found unattended at her lifeguard station.
Oh, no. Poor thing.
So, according to the timeline that was later constructed of Molly's morning, she had arrived at Cummins Pond at 9:58 a.m., so very punctual. Her shift started at 10, and she'd begun to set up for the day. But by 10:03 a.m., because someone else, I think there was like a sand truck delivering sand to the beach, so like there was like documentation of like when other people arrived, and somebody arrived at 10:03 a.m. and she wasn't there. She was nowhere to be seen. So just literally 5 minutes after her mom dropped her off, she was already
disappeared.
gone.
Oh.
Jesus.
Her shoes were on the beach and her lifeguard kit was open by her chair.
Okay.
A
So
mass-
she was just snatched. She's
There
Grab
was
and go.
disappeared.
grab and go. There was
Yeah.
no sign of a struggle. There was no, blood or anything. It
Yeah.
was just her shoes were there. She was setting up for the day and she was gone.
That's like the epitome of like vanished without a trace. Like there's
Yeah.
no evidence. There's like no trail to follow.
Right.
Yeah.
I hate it.
So a massive search for Molly was immediately launched. Again, she's 16 years old.
Right.
Maggie told police about the man in the parking lot whom she'd had a weird feeling about the day before. And thankfully, they fucking listened to her, even though there wasn't like a ton to go off of. And they created a sketch based on her description. So there are 2 sketches on the drive. These will be on the blog. So take a look at sketch 1.
Okay. Got it.
I believe that is the first sketch that the police sketch artist helped her create. And the first one that was sent out. And then sketch 2 was made about a year after Molly's disappearance. Her mom, just on her own, sought out the help of a very famous sketch artist, like
Okay.
forensic sketch artist, and hired her to create this sketch that Maggie felt was more accurate than the first one.
Sure.
And then Maggie also had her add the fact that the man was smoking a cigarette and smoking with his left hand.
Okay.
She remembered that.
Oh.
Yeah, that could be pertinent information.
Right.
Could be
Does that
left-handed.
mean you're left-handed?
I mean,
No,
not-
it
not
could actually
necessarily.
mean the opposite. Like if you're used to...
You're
if
using your right hand. and-
yeah, exactly. So those are the 2 sketches. And again, the mom feels that the second sketch is more accurate because they do look very different. The first sketch,
They
I
do.
would say, looks much more like a Caucasian male, and the second sketch looks like possibly a Hispanic male or mixed. Okay. So when
Putting the
potential,
bathrobe back on real quick. Sorry.
you got to, what's life without a robe?
It's getting a little chilly in here.
When potential witnesses were interviewed, one person said that they had seen a man with a mustache in a white car in the swimming area's parking lot just minutes before Molly arrived on the morning of the 27th. So they said that they saw a car in the parking lot before she arrived. Another person said they'd seen a white car parked at a cemetery that was connected to the pond by a walking path through the woods.
Okay.
But despite this becoming the largest and most expensive search for a missing person in Massachusetts history,
Wow.
there was no sign of Molly.
Dang.
So creepy. She just like
Gone.
disappeared.
She was plucked away.
Ugh.
And it just hits really close to home for us. I know we weren't lifeguards, but like we had our moms drop us off at 16 for summer jobs and, you know, buy water and
Oh, long before that. I mean, in middle
14.
school, we were just dropped off in Excelsior, like at your house in the morning, and they'd pick us up at like the movie theater at night.
I know.
That's
It
just normal.
It just hits really close to home.
Mm-hmm.
So the high-profile case was eventually depicted on shows like America's Most Wanted, Unsolved Mysteries, and 48 Hours. The word really got out about this case, but still they didn't have any solid leads at first.
Right.
Then finally, in the summer of 2003, a break came when a local hunter in the neighboring town of Palmer, Massachusetts, mentioned to a friend that on one occasion the previous fall, he had seen a blue bathing suit in the woods.
Mm.
Ooh, I don't like that.
That's really creepy, but that's evidence.
That's evidence.
So at least it's something.
And luckily, the friend took that seriously and reached out to the police with this information. I feel like that could have been really easy to be like,
Oh, someone lost their bathing suit.
yeah, weird.
I mean, I used to take my underwear off on the way home from school and ditch it on the side of the road.
Yeah, your underwear is sitting in a lot of evidence bags.
Probably. At least one of those pairs.
You're not a good standard bearer for what's weird to find in the woods.
I don't know. I don't think I'm the only one who's ditched a bathing suit or a pair of underwear as a kid.
Definitely. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's really good that they were like, you know what? He saw it. He noticed it enough to like mention it to me. I'm just going to flag it up. So reached out to the police with this information and they searched the area where the man had been hunting the previous fall. And an intensive search of this specific area soon led to the discovery of Molly's body.
Okay.
I don't have more details about that. Her remains had been buried, but I don't know if they, used dogs and that's how they found her body and it was still buried, or if somehow
and this was the 90s?
This was 2003.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Or if over time, over 3 years, she had been buried in a shallow grave and then had more, come to the surface. I don't know. So an official cause of death was not determined, but investigators knew that she had been murdered and her remains buried. So they knew it was foul play, but they didn't know exactly how she was murdered. But still, there are no official suspects.
Wow.
In the ensuing years, though, a few men were looked at in connection with the case. So we have some possibles. One of them is a man named Rodney Stanger.
Ugh.
Take a look at this douche
Okay.
on the drive.
Oh, looks a lot like that first. Well, both of the sketches, the eyes.
Yeah, the
Especially
tiny eyes.
the eyes in sketch 2 are
And
like.
the nose in sketch 1 looks exactly like it.
This guy looks exactly like sketch 1, I
Yeah.
think.
I think so.
Dang.
Looks like a tired walrus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Stanger lived in nearby Southbridge at the time of Molly's disappearance, but he would regularly hunt and fish in the Warren area. So he would know those woods,
Yep.
specifically the woods where her body was found, because that is a hunter was there and that is how the body was discovered.
Right.
So it's a hunting area. His home was also located very close to the YMCA where Molly had attended her lifeguard certification training classes.
And where Kenyon had crapped in the pool.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Warm water.
I mean, sounds great. I want to sit in some warm water. Oh, that's called a bath. Okay.
I'll sit in some warm water.
You guys, I have a great idea.
They make this thing where you sit in warm water.
I'm gonna buy a stick. Okay.
Can get on Amazon to buy a stick.
So it's possible he may have spotted Molly.
It is Cyber Monday. You could get a good deal. On
I probably
Great deal
would
on
get a really
sticks.
good deal on a stick today. Clev.
Clever.
All right, it gets dark again because this
Get
guy.
the laughs out now.
Get your laughs out now.
I know how you operate.
This guy is a piece of shit.
Piece of work.
So in 2010, Stanger was sentenced to 25 years in prison for stabbing his girlfriend to death in Florida in 2008.
Cool.
Jesus Christ.
So he, like I said, at the time of Molly's disappearance, he lived nearby in Massachusetts. But then about a year after Molly's disappearance, he moved down to Florida. And
Yep.
then in 2010.
Stabbed his partner and okay, got it.
Yep.
Cool. Great. Well
Yes.
done, sir.
Because men aren't just violent to one woman. If they're violent to one, they're violent to many.
Mm-hmm.
So Stanger apparently made his way. Already said that. Okay. As of 2021, police have interviewed him in connection with the case and have stated that he has not been ruled out as a potential suspect. Another man who had been looked into is Gerald Battistoni. So there's a photo of him on the drive.
Where are you at, Gerald? Oh, I see it. Ooh.
Yeah, he's really scary looking.
Sir.
Oh, ooh.
His eyes are.
Again, those eyes like Sketch 2. He looks a lot like Sketch 2.
He looks mean.
He
If
looks.
he had a mustache, I feel like he would be Sketch 2.
Mhm.
He's too sketch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he, unsurprisingly, from just everything about his face, is a convicted child rapist from Ware, Massachusetts, which is just a 12-minute drive away from Warren.
Mm-hmm.
In August 2011, Battistoni was arrested and found guilty of 4 acts of rape and child abuse that he had committed 20 years prior.
Ew.
God.
This prompted police to consider him a potential suspect in Molly Bish's murder, as well as the murder of a 10-year-old little girl named Holly Pirenin. And there's a photo of Holly on the drive, and she's darling, and it's so fucking sad that there are these evil humans in the world.
Seriously.
Oh, she's
little
really, she
side
looks like
pony.
my sister.
She looks a lot like your sister as a kid.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh my God, she really looks like Madeline. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So Holly was 10 when she disappeared back in 1993. And listen to this. She was near her grandmother's home in Sturbridge while taking a walk to see some puppies nearby.
Oh my
No.
God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's like Red Riding Hood. Like, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 months later, Holly's remains were found in the woods of a nearby town. So another similarity there. Also, like, nobody's really mentioning, but like Holly and Molly
Yeah.
could just be a coincidence. But
It's a little creepy, though.
so Battistoni was also known to have spent time in both Sturbridge and Warren. And the child that he was convicted in 2011 of raping also lived in Warren, very close to Cummins Pond.
Oh.
And was described by police as a, quote, young blonde girl with similar features to Holly and Molly.
Okay, well, a lot of stuff is fitting there.
Eerily, and this is very fucking spooky, 10-year-old Molly actually wrote a letter to Holly's parents in the aftermath of her disappearance in 1993
No.
that read, "I am very sorry. I wish I could make it up to you. Holly
Oh.
is a very pretty girl. She is almost as tall as me. I wish I knew Holly. I hope they found her."
Oh.
Isn't that so fucking sad?
Yeah.
Ugh, little babe.
So, Battistoni allegedly attempted suicide in prison in 2011, shortly after news reports came out that he was being considered in connection with both cases.
Mm-hmm.
But his suicide attempt didn't go through, and he survived, and he passed away in prison of, I presume, natural causes in 2014. And he was never convicted in either case.
Sure.
And then finally, there is Francis Sumner Sr., or Francis Frank. There are photos of him on the drive.
Okay. Oh, yep. I mean, the hair is a fit. The nose was sketch 2.
He looks a lot more like sketch 2.
If you put a mustache on him, of the 3, he looks the most like sketch 2.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So in June of 2021, investigators named Sumner as a person of interest in Molly's case, and this is the only person they've ever given such an official designation to. Sumner, who is also deceased, he died in 2016 and was cremated, was a registered sex offender who had previously been convicted of aggravated rape and kidnapping. This crime occurred in 1981 when Sumner abducted and raped a 21-year-old woman who came to the auto shop that he ran in order to get her car fixed.
Oh, God.
You can't fucking go anywhere or do anything. They're just predators lying in wait.
I hate it so much.
So at the time of Molly's disappearance, he lived in Spencer, Massachusetts, which was about 13 miles from Warren. Many people have noted the uncanny similarity between photographs of Sumner and the sketch of the man that Maggie saw in the white car, so the second sketch. When asked about the striking resemblance to the man she described seeing the day before Molly disappeared, Maggie stated, quote, "I looked at his hair, his eyes. I mean, he glared at me. It scares me. This could be him. I'm really, really, really hoping this is it. Really at this point that we can look up and say to Molly, it's done. We remember and we just love you and we remember you."
Poor things.
So Molly's sister, Heather Bish, has also indicated that she feels, quote, compelled toward Sumner as a suspect, stating, quote, "I'm pretty certain they're on the right track now."
Okay.
But she has also stated, quote, "We're getting closer no matter what, so I'm confident in that, but I'm scared. Honestly, I'm kind of scared to know what happened to my sister."
Yeah, I'm sure.
I would be.
So Worcester District Attorney Joseph Early Jr. has said that new information has recently come to light that led them to view Sumner as a person of interest, but has not given specifics. And all these quotes from the district attorney are like hella vague, but here goes. Quote, "We got information.
Cool, thanks.
Every tip has to be verified.
Sure.
The tip was verified.
Okay.
And it was verified and corroborated.
Okay.
And we got more information that led us to this point where we are today,
Great.
where we believe he is a person of interest, a suspect, if you will."
God.
Cool.
So,
that was a quote?
yes.
Oh my God.
Riveting stuff. I know that they can't say much, but
Still.
yeah. So the DA's office has also cautioned that naming Sumner as a person of interest does not indicate that the other men who have been looked at in connection with this case have been cleared. So it doesn't mean that they're not looking at the other people anymore.
Sure.
After the DA's announcement, a local news channel reported that according to a source, the tip that led to the announcement of Sumner as a suspect involved the white car that Maggie Bish had seen in the parking lot the day before. The tipster allegedly told investigators that they saw a white car that fit the description in one of the shops where Sumner worked, and that Sumner was known to regularly borrow customers' cars.
What?
So
okay.
That shouldn't be, I don't know, allowed.
Well,
Right.
it could be that, I wanted to test it, so I took it around the block. But really, he's like, oh, this
fully
is a car
borrowing a car.
This is a car that I don't
I can
own
use
that
to
can't
commit
be
crimes.
traced to
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And smoking in someone else's car.
That's fucking rude.
Yeah. Although,
Really
if
rude.
they were also a smoker, they'd never know. But yeah. Yeah. Isn't
Still.
that fucked up?
Yeah.
It's
But,
really, really
makes
fucked up.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It has also been reported that Sumner smoked with his left hand.
Oh, just like she said.
Well,
And-
you can tell which hand your fingers are yellow on.
Mhm.
Yeah. And,
Give it a sniff.
if he's a mechanic, if he owns a repair shop and he's working on shit and smoking, I feel like every mechanic I've ever known has smoked with their left hand.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't noticed.
Yeah.
How many mechanics do you know?
A lot.
A lot. This is the first time I've ever had a car that works. So
That's true.
Fair.
Yeah. Despite believing investigators are on the right track, Heather, the sister, stated in another interview that she cannot say with certainty that Sumner is a more likely suspect than any of the other men who have been considered. Because honestly, all three of them are fucking gross
Right.
and have points that could be them, and they all match the sketches in different ways.
Totally.
Maybe all three of them did it.
No, maybe. Fucking who knows? Quote, I don't have those feelings because I am traumatized by the fact that there are so many, many abusive men, and they exist in our society, and they're fixing our cars, and they're delivering our mail, and they're coaching our kids' soccer team. And that's where my feelings are. I'm scared, I'm sad, and I'm frightened for people because I can see this differently now. I see the monsters.
Oh. Ooh, that gave me goosebumps.
Oh,
I know.
That's so sad.
So this case is still unsolved, and Massachusetts State Police are still seeking tips from anyone who may have information about Molly's disappearance, about any of these suspects, specifically about Francis Sumner. You can call the anonymous tip line at 508-453-7575. And I just want to end on a little bit of hope. I read somewhere, and I don't know if this is still the case now in 2021, but I read that as of 2016, they had 24 pieces of evidence in the file that they felt could be tested again with
Okay.
enhanced DNA testing.
That's
I'll
not bad.
take it.
Yep.
And also, even though one of them, who was the one? I think Battistoni is the one who died and was cremated.
Mm-hmm.
But they said that with familial DNA
Yeah, I was gonna
techniques,
say.
they could still match if it is him.
If they had a willing
I think they do.
family member, yeah.
So I don't know where it's at. I haven't found anything super recent, but that is the case of Molly Bish. And she just was like, there are photos on the drive. She just seemed like a happy, normal 16-year-old
Just a little
girl.
peanut.
Little
Yeah.
lifeguard, and she had friends, and she went to school dances, and
Oh.
whole thing.
That's
So, yeah.
sad. People are garbage.
So, yay, lifeguard crimes.
Love it. Nice lighthearted topic.
Yeah.
Are you ready for my chaos?
Baby. Not after
Yeah.
that one.
Kenyon has us really primed for another real sad one, and this is
Yeah.
sad as hell, so buckle up.
Great.
Oh, God.
I mean, most of our cases are sad as hell, so
I know.
we should all be used to this by now.
I know.
It's a
So-
crime show.
Yeah,
We haven't recorded in like a week, and I
Yeah.
feel like we really
we're making up
get
for it.
soft in the off days.
We do get soft in the off days.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like we live a normal life and not think about really horrific, violent crimes for like a couple days.
And then go back to
bam!
work for you.
And then damn.
Bam. So let's go back to an era which was the peak of fashion, 2002.
Oh my God. The best.
I know, a fave. Allie Kemp, who is pictured on the drive and will be on the blog in her senior photo, rocking an iconic Tiffany Link bracelet. You know the one.
Oh, yeah.
With the little heart dog tag on it.
Yep,
Oh,
yep,
I
yep,
had
yep.
that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I
we
did
all
too.
did. She took a job as a pool attendant / lifeguard at her neighborhood's local community pool while she was home on summer break from her freshman year at Kansas State University, where she had made honor roll. Real smart. Most smartest.
Look at her.
She and her brother both took jobs at the same pool in the quiet town of Leawood, Kansas. It's only 4 blocks from their house. It was like the perfect job.
That's ideal. Yeah.
Quote, it was a wonderful job, a neighborhood pool, and you would think the safest place in the world, her father, Roger Kemp, told 2020 correspondent Don Dollar. On June 18th, 2002, Allie arrived for her shift at the pool. The usually busy summer spot was quiet that day because of the overcast skies and potential rain. So there was like no one at the pool.
Remind me, I know you just said it. What state are we in? Where are we?
Kansas.
Kansas.
Just outside of Kansas City is this suburb of Leawood.
Okay.
So she was bored on her shift. She called a couple friends to keep her company. One was her boyfriend of like 5 years, little sweetie, but he was busy, so he couldn't come. And then she also texted her friend Laurel, who answered around 3 p.m. and made her way to the pool. When she got there, she honked her horn to have Allie let her into the pool. Because we had one of these pools in Connecticut growing up where you could get like a pool pass.
Mm-hmm.
And there was someone who would like check you in. But if your friend worked there, they could just like come get you and let you in.
Yeah.
So she honked her horn to have Allie let her into the pool. But Laurel didn't see Allie anywhere. And she didn't answer the horn honk.
Hork.
My honk won't quit. Horn. I'm
My
going to
horkin'.
bed.
I'm horking this horn and she won't come. And assumed that she was busy, so she took off. And there's more detail to that later, but I don't want to say it yet.
Okay.
She said, quote, I saw a man walking out. I presumed he was a maintenance worker, and I just kind of looked around and saw Allie's stuff there. I just assumed that she had gone to do something really quick, and then I left and I went home. So she's assuming that she's busy, she's working. Maybe there was like a maintenance issue. She's like, okay, well, I gotta go. Around 5 p.m., shift change began, and Allie's little brother, Tyler, was scheduled to relieve her. But when he got to the pool, he couldn't find her anywhere, despite her belongings and cell phone being left out by her station at the pool.
This is spookily similar to my case.
It's real similar. Starting to panic, Tyler called their dad. When Roger Kemp got to the pool, he started to search. Quote, I looked around the pool, went into the pool house, and I went in. I didn't see anything. And then I just took a few more steps, and then I found Allie. She'd been covered, and her leg was sticking out. I threw back the cover, and there she was. So her dad found her.
Oh, my fucking God.
Yeah. Allie had been hidden in the pool house under a blue tarp, blood surrounding the area, covered in cuts and bruises. Her flip-flops were found in 2 different spots in the room, like they'd been kicked off. Her fingernails were almost all broken, so Allie had put up a fucking fight.
Yeah.
Like, it was clear that she had fought hard.
Oh, my God.
Investigators got to work processing the scene and interviewing the few people who were there that day and days prior. So lawn crews recalled seeing a man lurking in the bushes the previous day with a video camera.
Okay, and you didn't fucking
Mention it
report
the day
that?
before.
Come on.
I know.
A man lurking in the bushes with a video camera by
know.
a pool with a young lifeguard, and people are like,
I mean,
men-
to be
men will be
fair,
men.
it's very possible that the lawn crew were people of color who don't speak English as a first language, and there's not always going to be like a great relationship with police. So, like, I get why for some people, police are like making a report isn't as easily said than done. But like, we gotta all do our due diligence, because that's not normal. Like, if anyone's lurking, like, tell someone at the pool.
Exactly.
Like, you don't
Yeah.
have to call
Tell
the police.
pool manager.
Just like call
so that
your manager.
They can tell the staff
Exactly.
and make appropriate, you
Right.
know.
Like, just let
Decisions.
somebody know if you see a strange man lurking in the bushes at a community pool with a camera.
video camera.
Yeah.
Or a phone.
So they also saw the same guy on the day of Allie's murder driving in around in the parking lot in a beige-colored pickup truck. Laurel gave the best description that she could of the man that she saw that day, and a composite sketch was rendered, and it's on the drive so you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
They were also able to collect DNA from the scene, but most of it was Allie's, and the additional DNA only gave a partial profile, so it was less than a slam dunk for sure. The autopsy revealed the cause of death to be strangulation, and they think that he used like a ligature, like a garrote or whatever it's called.
A garrote.
Yeah, garrote. And then her collarbone was broken, so they think he like stepped on her to like hold her down and choke her. It's so fucked up.
And then where did the blood come from?
Well, she was beaten up.
Okay.
And the autopsy also revealed that Allie was sexually assaulted. The investigation dragged on for months without leads. Roger, the dad, offered a $50,000 reward for tips. One call came in pointing to a suspect who looked like the composite sketch, but that individual had a solid alibi and was at work at the time of the murder. Like, it was on cameras. It was verified by everybody. It couldn't have been him. So with the case all but cold for over a year, despite segments on America's Most Wanted and USA Today, Roger decided to get creative. Quote, I was going down the highway and I looked at them and I thought, why not? Why not give them a call and see what a billboard costs?
Yes.
And that's what I did.
We did it.
We did it
Amazing.
to troll an ex.
We did it to put a billboard in front of Amanda's ex-boyfriend's place of work.
Oh my God, I fucking forgot.
Down the road.
Slash advertise a live show.
On his way to work from his apartment.
I mean, I cannot confirm nor deny that it's exactly on his way, but it's in the vicinity. It's in a popular area. Not my fault if he sees it in 4 popular areas around the city that I know he goes to frequently. So his call was answered by a man named Bob Fessler, a salesperson for Lamar Advertising. He had never processed a request like Rogers. Quote, I never thought we'd be involved in solving crimes, he said. He was fully prepared, I believe, to come in and buy 1 or 2 billboards and put them up to generate leads, because billboards aren't cheap, to catch the guy that killed his daughter. Lamar Advertising went above and beyond and donated multiple billboards to catch this man.
That's awesome.
Until then, it is awesome. And like definitely a reflection of what community assistance can look like. And more people should be on board with doing stuff like that. Until then, billboards had been commonly used to locate missing persons, but never to find a murder suspect. So no billboard anywhere had ever been used this way. And now I think you probably see it more often because it definitely had results. So the billboard generated immediate results. One of the locations chosen had 50,000 eyes on it on average a day. So like a really high traffic area outside of Kansas City.
Oh.
And so tips were just rolling in like crazy, and multiple tips were very promising. These tips came from an unlikely place, however. Bantam, Connecticut. Over 1,300 miles away from the murder scene. So this is 2 years now after the murder of Allie Kemp, and police arrive at the doorstep of Benjamin Appleby and arrested him on an outstanding warrant from 1997 for the following crimes: risk of injury, disorderly conduct, and public indecency. So he's probably like hammered and being a fucking asshole. And I think that warrant was out in Kansas, but because he was looked at as a suspect, the Kansas City police got in touch with police officers in Connecticut, and they were like, hey, we have outstanding warrants on this guy who we also think
Can you get him?
is a suspect. Can you get him? We're going to send Kansas police down to like meet you at the station. So they did that. And while he was in custody, the Kansas police began to question him about Allie Kemp. And they had like in the interrogation room, they had staged binders that had like Allie Kemp's photo and like name. So they have
Make
him
it
on,
look like they have more evidence
Right.
against him.
So he, and I mean, the whole thing is recorded. I didn't access any of the recordings of his interrogation or his confession, but it was like he was starting to sweat the second he went in. Like that tactic worked because he goes in, he sits down, he thinks he's like gonna get in trouble for flashing his donger while drunk in Kansas, and then he looks around and it's like, oh fuck, this is not a good situation for Benjamin Appleby. So they question him about Allie Kemp.
He's about to have a triple chocolate meltdown.
It's a whole one for these police officers. He confessed immediately and provided the gruesome closure that the family had been waiting for 2 long years. So Appleby had multiple charges in Missouri, and Leawood was an area that he visited frequently. So as we know, like Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, they're right on the border of each other. So it's like everybody just kind of hangs out in both. So he had family in the area of Leawood that owned a fucking pool cleaning business. Like his dad owned a pool cleaning business and lived within like 10 minutes of that community pool. He had also been living under the alias Teddy Hoover. And this was a suspect that was looked at for questioning previously, like not that long before they
Under
were
the
like,
alias?
Oh shit, under the alias. But they picked him up to question him. He gave this Teddy Hoover name. They asked for like DNA. And I think that there were some charges in either Missouri or Kansas that were under the name Teddy Hoover. And they were trying to like basically do what they did in Connecticut, like get him, question him, and see what's up. But he refused to give a DNA test and got a lawyer. And so investigators were like, oh, fuck, we can't question him anymore. And then he moved to Connecticut and went back to living as Benjamin Appleby. So it kind of left local investigators with very little to go on at that point.
Really?
So did he have a good fake ID that he could
I honestly,
Teddy Hoover? Or do you
I
just
don't
say
know.
It's 1884 and you could just say a different name.
I do not know. I think that he probably
Well-
had an ID.
You used to be able to just say you were a doctor.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that question, but either way, it
Yeah.
at least temporarily, it worked long
Slowed
enough
things down.
for him to get out of the state and slow everything down. Exactly. So this is from ABC News. Quote, Appleby describes seeing Allie in the pool's pump room. He said he found her attractive and approached her with the intention of hitting on her. In a taped
How old is this fucker at the time? And
he's
she's
30 and she's 19.
cool.
Yeah. Appleby told officers that she rejected his advances and pushed him when he reached out to touch her. He had like blocked the door to keep her from getting out, and she like
Great.
pushed him, and then I guess she punched him in the face, thank God. He said, quote, I touched her not hard, nothing either, on the shoulder or the hip or something, and she pushed me back and she punched me. I fucking lost it. I hit her back. I know I fucking killed her, and I don't know why I did it, end quote.
Oh my God.
So he
Just
confessed
in that
to her-
first interrogation.
Yep. Just let it all out. Which, like, good. After all that fucking time, just fucking
Yeah.
confess so that this family can finally be fucking done
fucking
with this.
Asshole freak, though. To like,
Yep.
the way he like minimizes his stalking of her,
Right.
cornering her, and assaulting her.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then she punched me.
I didn't
Can
even
you
touch her
believe
that
it?
hard.
Yeah. I don't know why I did it. Just did it. Whatever.
Ugh.
Ish. He confessed to removing her clothes, covering her with a tarp, and leaving the scene. He also waved at Allie's friend Laurel, who was waiting in the parking lot.
So he was the guy that she saw that she thought was a pool maintenance worker because he dressed
Yup.
like a pool maintenance worker so
Yup.
he could get in there.
Yup.
Ugh.
Precisely. And she recalls leaving the pool faster than she probably would have while she was waiting for Allie because the waving man had creeped her out.
The waving man. Ick.
Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah. I hate it. I hate it a lot.
Then, like many killers do, Appleby returned to the scene of the crime later that night, but didn't stay because a community vigil had already formed and he didn't want to be caught there.
Yeah, the killer's always at the vigil.
So despite his confession, he entered a plea of not guilty to the charges of first-degree capital murder and attempted rape. He received a sentence of a hard 50 years, which means like a 50-year minimum with no opportunity for parole until after that 50 is done. And he was sent to prison. The trial was like 8 seconds long. They were like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You did it. Bye-bye. In 2019, Appleby filed a 90-page motion with the courts asking for a reduced sentence, re-traumatizing the Kemp family and the community in the process.
Yeah, selfish fucking prick.
So just some of the things he tried to get out, like get a reduced sentence for, are how I'm going to wrap this up. But this is from court documents. Quote, Mr. Appleby first claims that submitting his confession to the jury violated his 5th and 14th Amendment rights against compelled self-incrimination because he confessed after repeatedly asking about an attorney, which is kind of a vague thing. It doesn't say he explicitly asked for a lawyer, but this is what this says. During the book-in process on the Connecticut charges and before ever speaking with the Kansas detectives or even knowing they were present, Mr. Appleby asked a Connecticut detective if he could speak to an attorney about refusing to submit a DNA swab. So about a totally different thing related to the charges that they originally brought him in on. 3 other times during the book-in process on the Connecticut charges, he asked more generally if he could have an opportunity to speak with an attorney, which, like, okay, if they denied him that outright,
Well,
the tapes do not suggest that they did. It's probably like, yeah, we'll get you in touch with an attorney, but we just
Yeah.
want you to answer a few questions first. Like, that's
Yeah.
a totally fucking normal.
right. If they're
tactic.
like, yeah, exactly. If they're like, yeah, you can speak to an attorney, we will work on getting you an attorney. And then he
Right.
just spilled the beans
Right.
too
And
fast.
But then this says once he was transferred to the Kansas detectives, so after he saw like the binders and shit and like knew his goose was cooked, Mr. Appleby agreed to answer their questions about the murder and waived his Miranda rights and gave the Kansas detectives a 2.5-hour interview without requesting to speak or have the assistance of an attorney. And that was the confession that they used in court. So there was nothing, this doesn't apply. So obviously the court was like, no, you on tape waived your Miranda rights before giving this full confession. Fuck off. So we're not giving you that. He also tried to claim ineffective assistance from defense counsel, suppression arguments, issues with the outstanding warrants that he was originally brought in on, issues with the geographic jurisdiction of the Kansas detectives, and that, quote, his trial counsel rendered ineffective assistance by failing to proffer the testimony of Dr. George Howe, a clinical psychologist and mental health expert. So before trial, Dr. Howe diagnosed Mr. Appleby with intermittent explosive disorder, which sounds like IBS to me.
It's a real thing. We've talked about it before.
I know.
It does sound like IBS.
It's
sounds
a very
like IBS.
unfortunate name of a disorder.
Yeah.
And antisocial personality disorder. According to Mr. Appleby, Dr. Howe's testimony
I'm fucking sure.
I
He
know.
murdered someone.
Well, yeah, and like a lot of people struggle with these, with layered, co-occurring mental health issues and don't stalk and murder people.
Mm-hmm.
So like we always say, your mental health isn't your fault, but it is your fucking responsibility. Dr. Howe's testimony would have supported his theory of defense that he lacked the requisite intent of premeditation to commit capital murder due to a mental disease or defect. But he was literally lurking around the property stalking her for at least a day before. So like, no, the court rejected this as well.
He borrowed a vehicle and like
Impersonated
up.
I mean, there was too much.
Super premeditated.
Yeah, there was way too much. Like, it's one thing if you truly do not have the mental capacity to premeditate a crime. Like that would basically that would really fall under that explosive disorder because it's like very reactionary.
Right.
But it's like you did have the wherewithal to disguise yourself.
Yeah, you
to
premeditated
stake out
and you
the property.
post-meditated by having an alias and skipping town.
Right,
It's a lot of
exactly.
meditation.
It's a lot of meditation that if you don't have the faculties to pull that off, like something's not adding up. You're just grasping at straws at this point.
Yeah.
And then from KCTV News, Benjamin Appleby and his attorneys also argued that his sentence under the Kansas Hard 50 law is illegal and must be thrown out. He said because the factors that led to his Hard 50 were decided by a judge and not a jury, as required by an earlier U.S. Supreme Court ruling, Kansas law automatically required his sentence be modified. Detectives who were on the case, along with family friends, and Allie Kemp's father, were all in the courtroom that day. According to Roger Kemp, he's just thankful that the sentence was upheld. So he's trying to claim that, like, because a jury didn't decide to sentence him that way and the judge decided to sentence him that way, it should be thrown out. But there were other factors that allowed the judge to be the one to provide the sentencing. Yeah.
He just found a laundry list of any kind of common defense strategies and tried them all.
Yeah.
Like the
And none of them
jurisdiction
stuck.
one, it's
Yeah.
like,
Throw 'em at
sorry,
the wall,
dude.
see what sticks.
It doesn't matter if you murder somebody in Kansas and then get picked up in Connecticut.
Murder is pretty federal, pal.
Yeah.
Soup's federal.
Yeah,
Soup feds.
So according to Roger Kemp, he's just thankful the sentence was upheld. He said, quote, "That's what we need in our society. We can't let Benjamin Appleby back out on the streets. He's caused nothing but hurt, pain, suffering, and tragedy to so many that he touched, and death in Allie's case." So the Hard 50 prison sentence means Appleby will serve 50 years in prison with no chance for parole until 2054. Prosecutors argued that state law doesn't apply to Appleby's case, and the Hard 50 should stand. And the judge denied Appleby's motion and stated that his argument is not applicable. And so he's in prison where he will remain, and I kind of doubt he'll get parole, but we shall see. Mm-hmm. And Roger Kemp has become like a big advocate for unsolved crimes and this whole like billboard
That's great.
tactic. And so he's really, in the wake of all of this tragedy, kind of recommitted to community support for really sad shit like that. And Lifeguard Crimes is fucking sad.
Really
Yeah.
sad.
Why?
Yeah. I'm drowning in sadness.
Yeah, it's
For
sad.
real.
Well, thank you to our fan picker, Mitchell Kazatsa. I hope I'm saying that right.
Kasaza.
Cause that's somebody.
And their girlfriend, Summer Montoya. Thank you for being lifeguards or having been lifeguards and
Thank you
saving
for
lives.
being a guard.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you next week.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.